Welcome to Rauta. This video is done in commercial collaboration with our sponsor, Steelfest. Hey buddy, and welcome to Rauta's Folk Metal Reviews. This is an interesting back from Sweden, which started already in 1995, and since that have been very active. Throughout the years, there's a big amount of albums, and most of them are 2000s. But early on, when I heard them, like late 90s, I remember these guys doing kind of a more melodic black metal, the Swedish style, not exactly original and all that stuff. And soon they started to change, or more like evolve into something different. And hence nowadays they're just called genre-wise Viking slash black slash folk metal. Let's be honest about it. The band has more and more shifted towards folk metal. And as such, I'm gonna call this latest album, which is here for review, that is from 2022, Ynglingaättens öde. That's how much Swedish I can really go. I'm not very familiar with the language. I don't really handle it, but that's how you roughly say it. This is purely folk metal. This came through Napalm Records in April 2022, and only now I got the time to review it because this arrived like in July or something. So it's been waiting for its time quite some while. But it's worth it because, in my opinion, this might be the best Månegarm album so far. The thing here is, early on the band was pretty mediocre B-class black metal album. When they started shifting towards, Viking folk metal things, they started to kind of develop their own style and becoming more, if not unique, at least something more original. And they kept going. Like throughout the years, which started as more like a lukewarm or decent experience, started to become something better. And this indeed could be their best album so far. First of all, the production is top notch, which is very important when we're talking about folk metal band, including folk instruments. So it's not just shredding your guitar and pounding your drums and leaving the bass somewhere in the background. You need to sound sharp and clear and all, because you have a lot of clean vocals on top of raspy vocals. You have guitars and you have those mouth harps and whatever. So it's important to sound crystal clear and make everything sound like they're meant to be. As folk as you can go, you really can't have too rural sound when it comes to this kind of music. I guess a lot of people listening to Viking folk metal can understand this. But what matters more is if the songwriting is good. And in my opinion it is. It's a kind of a good balance between the more blackish riffs, there are some, and raspy vocals, some, but also with the clean vocals and those folk instruments and a lot of clean singing. Also, in a couple of songs, there are like guest stars, doing their guest roles with the music, which then again enhances the experience to a level which where it would not be without them. That being said, it's an interesting that this is all through Swedish, except for the last track, which is actually a translated version of the second track, Ulvhjärtat, so Wolf Heart, same thing. And it's actually like a bonus track because it kind of ends the album with a like, okay, recapping already what being said and done, now just with a different language. Like, I'm not the biggest folk or Viking metal fan. There are some bands which I really like, but most of them, they don't really attract me. They're kind of too goofy, too humorous, or just too plain as weird. But Månegarm has been able to captivate both good riffs, melodies, atmosphere, and all those different styles of vocals as well as folk instruments to make this kind of a interesting blend of heavy metal, folk music, and, well, kind of a blackish metal. Viking metal would be more accurate, but you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, well, then you should be listening to this album. So, given that I'm not the core audience for this kind of music, it's a lot of me to say that this is their best album because it sounds so powerful and good, and I can imagine that this would be a really good live band. Like I said, been listening to the band since the 90s, not every album though, and what I've reviewed, especially early 2000s, the fourth album, sixth album, and so forth, they were kind of becoming better all the time. And now they have finally done the album, which I can say it's clearly good, not like on their way to goodness, like decent, but not there yet. So what are you waiting for? Check out Månegarm, and if you can get them live, if you get the chance to see them live, do it. Because I definitely will when I have the chance, and maybe, hopefully, someday I get to interview these guys because by the time they are actually this good and they have the history with folk and black, it's time to give them a chat. Meanwhile, let you enjoy the music and check it out from your favorite streaming services or physical format. Up to you. See ya and bye bye.